I cannot believe that the Spring Blossom season is coming to an end. So we're in the last 2 weeks of the Spring Blossom season, and it just seems like when you play this game, everything goes so fast. But this has just been unbelievably fast, maybe because I've been working so hard to get my Mythic. Anyways, guys, welcome to another episode of Talk Dragon Tuesday. Today is May 21st, and we are going into week 12 of the Spring Blossom season. So today we're going to be going over a few tidbits of news from War Dragons, which is about a wildfire change, as well as we are going to be having some super sigil news, and we of course have the Imperium tier Mythic dragons that have been released. So we're going to be going over that and a few other things today. If you are new to my channel, I want to first of all say thank you for joining us today. And don't forget before you leave to hit that subscribe and notification buttons so that you don't miss out on future videos. Not for the information of the week from War Dragons, at least make sure that you stick around for Talk Dragon Tuesdays every week so you can enter for a chance to win a $20 in-game pack. There's nothing like free stuff for your gaming, right? So anyways, we'll go over the information on how you can enter in this week's contest. Now, the first thing I want to go over, which we have a lot to go over today, so I'm going to be rushing through this as quickly as possible, but the Super Sigil chest will start this week. If you're a fan of those, they will begin this week and they should go on next week. Now, there is an update coming to the game, so make sure you have everything in Atlas prepared if you are, of course, Atlas players. That includes making sure that you've paid your upkeep. I would suggest 3 days just in case something goes down for a while. Get your prime marks off of enemy castles and NML, and then of course get your Atlas attacks in and your troops built early in the day because you may not have access later. So especially with this being the Primarch event, you may want to get started now. And of course there's another temple raid this season. I think this is like the third this season, which trust me, I'm not complaining. I really enjoy all that free energy for those points. Now, I've been wanting to do an updated video on this, but I've been waiting to get my dragons up to par for it. I hope I can get one updated for this one, but it may not be till the next one, guys. I really will try to see if I can get it prepared and get that together for you guys, but we shall see. I'm not for sure. All right, guys, the next thing is the wildfire. Great news on this. It used to cost us 80 flames in order to activate this, but they've reduced it to only 50 flames. Awesome job, PG. All right, Imperium Mythics will be releasing. They are releasing this week, but you know, the breeding event will be next week. They decided to go ahead and let everybody know ahead of time. That way you aren't guessing like, wait, do I have to breed them now? No, you don't have to breed them now. The breeding event will come in next week, and I really suggest holding off because why waste those points? I have been so busy getting prepared for the move that I have not had time to really watch the War Dragon stuff. So please be kind, because I know I'm going to say these names wrong. But the dragons we're going to be going over today are Sorcerer, as my guess. And then, of course, there is Lucien. And this dragon is really weird looking, but we'll go over that in a minute. And then, of course, Archon, which is pretty robotic looking. These are some pretty awesome dragons. Now, my favorite I'm going to put in here first is Seraph. It is a beautiful, absolutely stunning sorcerer. It's almost angelic. I mean, truly, the Kayla would look beautiful on this dragon. So this dragon, of course, is going to be your Mythic Wind Sorcerer, and you're going to have to use Methylex and whatever that other dragon's name is in order to breed her. She's going to come with 4 spells, which is the Divine Storm, Celestial Shield, Sacrifice, and Elemental Resist. Now, all of these spell sets on all of these dragons are pretty darn solid. And the first thing I noticed about this dragon is she has all white spells. So the first one, of course, being the Divine Storm. Now, the Divine Storm is an active white 2-rage spell that summons lightning bolt every half a second to damage random towers in front of the dragon. Each bolt will deal 8.5% of the dragon's modified HP. Now, this spell does have a 5-second duration, casting 10 lightning bolts in total. Gosh, I wish I was Imperium. That just sounds so exciting because, you know, I love the lightning bolt because it's on Equester, one of my beloved dragons. Now, the next one is going to be the Celestial Shield. This is an active white 2-rage spell where the dragon activates an invincibility shield for 6 seconds. Now, after the shield's duration expires, healing marks are applied to all the towers in a range that will heal 15% of the dragon's modified HP once destroyed. If a mark tower is not destroyed before the dragon is defeated, the healing marks will carry on over to the next dragon that follows in behind. This way they can obtain those healing marks instead upon destruction. So pretty cool one. And then we're going into Sacrifice. If you guys are at all familiar with Sacrifice, it is an active white 0 rage spell, which on some dragons is actually a blue spell. On this one, it will be white. And again, 0 rage. Now with this spell, you're going to be able to deal 7.5% of the dragon's modified HP as damage to the dragon in exchange for immediate gain on 2 rage. And the spell has an 8-second cooldown. So what this basically means is you're going to take 7.5% of your modified damage in trade for 2 rage. So if you're down to that little tiny bit left over and you use a sacrifice spell, you can basically commit suicide. I mean, basically. Alright, so let's jump into this dragon's resist, which is Elemental Resist, a passive yellow spell, which 50% of the damage will be reduced against any incoming attacks from elementals, which is basically flax and beam attacks. I personally think this is a pretty solid dragon, especially for the mainline tiers. So pretty awesome there. Now let's go ahead and go over Lucien. Lucien is a mythic dark hunter, and this dragon is so strange looking. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this dragon. It has all of these interesting details with like little like masks and faces like it's collecting. And I have not read the lore. I would love to do that because this dragon is just so intriguing to me. According to the lore, this is a celestial drake malformed and corrupted by the evil magic of the void. Unknown to the most of Atlas, the world shares its cosmic space position with another dimension. Little is understood about this other world, though none of it is pleasant. Known as the void, the land is more of a hellscape, rather than an actual place to live. The void constantly radiates chaotic energy, a magical force that causes any Atlas native substance to warp, twist, and unmake itself. With the existence of such dangerous and volatile places, there are always those who would seek to harness the power for their own. As Atlas united against Karenix's tyranny, the Black Mage sought to contact the Void in the desperation attempt for more power. Karenix and her disciples managed to open a portal in the Void through which they could harness the realm's chaotic energy. To prevent Karenix from destroying all of Atlas, the Spinal Peaks sent Lucien to destroy the portal. After a long battle, Lucien managed to disrupt the ritual, but the portal's collapse discharged a massive wave of energy, exposing Lucien to the purest essence of the void. From then, the dragons ceased to be Lucien as Atlas knew them. So again, this is a really intriguing dragon. The design on it is probably the most bizarre, but also beautiful. I can't explain it. Dragon I think I've ever seen in the game of War Dragons. I mean, it's just stunning. I mean, there is another thing I want to mention about this. If you notice the part in the lore where I said, as Atlas united against Karenix's tyranny, the Black Mage sought to contact the Void. Okay, so does this mean that this could be, you know, an insight that one day there could be a Black Mage that we put on our islands? Like, I don't know, guys. It seems a little weird. I've not personally heard of any Black Mages. I know there's been a lot of talk from players, like conspiracy theories of white and Black Mages, but that seems a little interesting. So, as for its spells, it's the Corruption of the Void, Nourishing Shadows, Entrap, and Adaptive Flak Resist. Now, let's go over the very first one, which is Corruption of the Void, which is a 2-part cycled spell. So, this is going to be an active white 0 rage spell that when you activate it, you can cycle between an invisible spell and a damage boost. The spell does have a 2-second cooldown between each cycle. So the first part is going to be the Sulk, which is an active white 0 rage spell, where the dragon will cloak for 4 seconds and then will fly at 150% of its normal speed. This spell will always go on cooldown when the cloak duration ends. Now after that, you're going to be able to, of course, activate Hysteria, but again, you have to wait for 2 seconds. Now, once you've activated this, the dragon deals 200% increased damage with its breath attack for 4 seconds. Anyways, I think this is going to be a pretty solid spell to definitely be playing with there. But let's jump into the next one, which is the Nourishing Shadows, which is an active 2-rage spell. And I'm not for sure if it's blue or white. It could be a typo saying it's blue, but the icon says it's white. So we'll just leave that up for debate. Now, the dragon will heal 40% of its modified HP on cast and recover 100% of its hunter ammo over 2.5 seconds. This spell has a 7-second cooldown. Pretty freaking sweet, guys. All right, the next one is going to be Entrap, which if you know 4, which 4 has this spell as well. With this, it's going to be a white 1-rage spell that'll stun buildings in a targeted area for 12 seconds or until the towers have been damaged. And last but not least, this little guy has Adaptive Flak Resist. This will be an active white 0-rage spell, which technically is kind of yellow. And this will allow you to change your flak resistance type throughout. Now, with this, you're going to be able to cycle through dark, fire, ice, electro, flak, and all these resists will be basically reduced by 70%. Now, just keep in mind that there is a 2-second cooldown between each and every cycle. Dude, another solid dragon. Anyways, let's jump into Archon, I'm not for sure how you pronounce it, which is the Mythic Earth Warrior who will be available to breed very shortly. But again, guys, I would wait until the breeding event. Do not waste your points. All right, so let's jump into the spell set on this dragon. Now, the first thing it has is the Adaptive Breath, and then it has a Magic Barrier, Revitalize, and Elemental Resist, which I'm going to tell you, these are some pretty solid ones too. I actually am not a fan of warriors, but this warrior looks fantastic. Now, the first one is the Adaptive Breath, which is an active white 0-rage spell. And when you activate this, you'll be able to cycle between 3 breath modifiers. The spell has a 2-second cooldown between each cycle. The first one is going to be the Frost Breath, which is an active white 0-rage spell. Now, this dragon's breath will attack, freezing the towers for 2 seconds after cycling, and this will deal 50% increased damage, and the spell does have a 4.5 second duration. Then your next one will be the Immolating Breath, which will be an active white 0-rage spell where the dragon's breath attack deals 150% increased damage. Spell has a 4-second cooldown. Last but not least, the Leeching Breath. Active white 0-rage spell, the dragon will deal 50% increased breath damage and heal for 20% of its modified HP whenever the tower has been destroyed. This spell has a 4.5 second duration. So pretty massive spell there, guys. All right, let's jump on into the Magic Barrier, which is an active white 0-rage spell. This is actually on some other dragons in the past and behind this dragon, which upon activation, the dragon becomes immune from all incoming attack damage for 3.5 seconds and blocks both Mage, Super Shot, Rage Drain, and Freeze effects. So this spell will have a 5-second cooldown. Pretty awesome. Now, the next one is going to be Revitalize, which is an active blue 2-rage spell where the dragon will restore 40% of its modified HP over a period of 2 seconds, and this spell will have a 4-second cooldown. Now, with these together, I really think that's going to be pretty massive. Now, let's jump into the Resist, which is Elemental Resist, basically meaning, again, 50% damage reduction against any elemental attacks, which is basically Flax and Beams, again, like the first dragon we went over. Now, I really think this is a solid, warrior for sure. All right, so last week I got my 3rd key. I'm so excited. So I got my 3rd key, and it was time to get my Mythic. And of course, I had to choose between Ronin and Zenko. Now, I was going to go for Zenko from the very, very beginning, mostly because, I love sorcerers and the spell set seemed pretty solid. And then, of course, since I started working towards this dragon in, making a sorcerer-based Atlas Rider out of the Rider that I got, as well as getting the gear, elite gears, from this Atlas season, starting to gather that up for this dragon too. So there really was no switching. Once I decided, it was what it was. So of course I was super excited to come in and do a live stream last week, and I completely failed. Dude, I completely failed at the spells. I don't know if it was because I was buzzed up from the margaritas I'd been drinking earlier, or if it was just I completely forgot what the spells were. sometimes I think it's just my nerves when I go live. I prefer doing the videos of this nature. But, guys, this dragon does have a solid spell set. There are some things about it that I'm not happy with. It doesn't feel like its attack when you swipe is putting out as much damage as its sisters. So, for example, Somnus, when I go with Somnus, who's exactly the same in attack, Somnus puts out a lot more damage and actually takes less damage in. In fact, I could take a base that has maybe one level 80 tower on an island that's not being defended. But with this dragon, I'm lucky to get anything over level 60. So again, it may not be the dragon, it could be the flyer. And as I work with this dragon a little bit more and a little bit more over the course of the week, I will actually have an updated video for you guys in Talk Dragon Tuesday of next week, letting you know whether if this should be your last minute dragon. Like if this is your last week at Atlas, you finally got the third key unlocked. Should you get Zenko, I will have that answer for you by next week. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this dragon without further ado. A more updated, informational video with, of course, a little bit of flight action for you guys as well. Now, I did get an awesome amount of stuff on this rider for him, including getting those elite gear in here, and I went ahead and put some stuff off of Equestria on him to make him equal to Somnus for comparison. So let's go ahead and jump in and do some flights. All right, so the first thing we're going to hit is an invader base. I know it's not as strong as hitting somebody else's base, but I'm going to do 3 different types here for you guys. Now, the first thing I noticed is whenever I got out of, within minutes, guys, of getting out of that live stream, I took this dragon flying, and I noticed one thing that I was doing wrong, which is the Kitsune Mischief. I cannot pronounce that. This specific spell, whenever you activate it, you got to let it take its course. And I was activating it and just swiping like any of the other blue things. And the other thing I noticed is the Foxfire Bolt will actually give you back health. I don't know if I wasn't using that properly or what, but it did make a massive difference once I learned how to utilize these a little bit better. So yes, he's great on an invader bases, but it is an invader base. So I went ahead and went out and I thought, well, let's go small at first. I found some that had level 57 towers, and I thought, well, we'll just hit this guy real quick and try it out. And you guys can see for yourself that the dragon does pretty decently here. But again, I mean, the dragon is supposed to be at 1.8 billion. And I'm, trying something pretty small because he does tend to have some issues. Plus, if I'd got a defender, there'd have been no way we would have gotten through this. But anyways, again, the Kitsune Mischief is one that I really, did not utilize properly. That particular spell can be very, very useful when it comes to this dragon. And I really love the Death Gaze on this because every time you go in and you take out a farm, it'll keep giving you back that Death Gaze. It's pretty awesome. So as you see, I got right through this base with no issues, but it's not a fair match. Somnus would have flew through this with no problems. So not the best one. But during my live stream, I actually hit a specific base, which was Twerk for Jesus, one of the viewers here. And I thought today I would go ahead and hit him again so we can compare the flight to the last week's video. Now, I'm sorry, Twerk for Jesus, I took some food. That wasn't my intention. I just wanted to make sure we compared properly. So you're already going to see, if you watch the live stream, that there's a massive difference in my flying, just that alone. So using that spell properly is a huge key factor. And I think that with practice, this dragon can be pretty amazing. However, again, I just feel like his attack is just so weak in comparison to some of the other sorcerers I have in my roster. So as you see, I made it a heck of a lot further than whenever I attacked him last week in that live. And I actually almost get 100%, but I fail right there on one of the farms. Anyways, guys, that's my updated thing. I really think that he's a lot better than I initially thought. I think whenever we get into next week's video, we can really look at how I think, or what I think of this dragon and whether I think you should get it or not. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the giveaway for this week. If you watched last week's Talk Dragon Tuesday, then you know I had a very special guest called Scarlet Reaper on the show, who is an amazing artist, and we went over her, most recent art, some of her proud pieces, and I asked everybody to share with me whose their favorite was. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the comment picker website and see who the lucky winner is of this week's $20 in-game pack. Now, there was so many different options or picks on that, so it's proof that this girl really does have some amazing skills, because a lot of you were very, very kind and very, very impressed with her art, and rightfully so. She really does have an amazing talent. So let's see who the winner is for this $20 in-game pack from last Tuesday. Looks like it's going to be Outlander Tally. She says, I know you said don't choose Somnus, but it's her favorite too. Awesome. Outlander, congratulations. You are the winner of this week's contest. Now, of course, I'm going to send your name up to War Dragon so that they can get that prize out to you. I would say give it a week or two, but you should definitely get it before long. Anyways, again, congratulations, Outlander Tally. You are the winner of this week's contest. Now, if you would like to enter for a chance to win a $20 in-game pack from War Dragons, then you've come to the right place. So we're going to go over here in just a moment what it is you've got to do to enter into this week's contest. But first, let's go over the fine print. The fine print being, to enter in my weekly contest, you're going to have to go down to the comment section below, put your in-game name, and if it's, an answer or a comment or whatever that I need from you, go ahead and put that as well. And then just keep in mind that all prizes go out by War Dragons, but if for some reason you don't get yours, please reach out to me and I will get in contact with them. Now, this week, the answer I am looking for is, what do you think of the wildfire change? So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I announced that we're going from needing 80 flames and to activate the wildfire to now only 50. I think this is amazing. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to put your in-game name in the comment section below along with your answer. And then, of course, next week, we will go over the winner. Now, of course, I've had a busy week. As you guys know, I'm getting ready for a big move. But today and next week on Talk Dragon Tuesday, I'm going to be making it an all-day video day so I can get some videos out for you guys. So be sure to check back later this week because there will be some videos posting. I'll be scheduling them so they post up on specific days, including an Atlas Explorer video, and then of course Back to the Basics video guide. All right, I will see you guys next time here on RPW Gaming Channel. Before you leave, like I said, if you have not already subscribed, be sure to do so and hit that bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Anyways, guys, happy hunting.